with a downsized flag, still representing the flag of sackcloth for humanity. This is Mel McGinnis with the Sophie Scholl Monologue. Glad you're here with me today. Deface the Nation on MSCBS. Notice I almost said MSNBC, but CBS seemed more like MSNBC. And I always appreciated the humor of Rush Limbaugh when he would talk about the Sunday talk show on CBS called Face the Nation. He would say, deface the nation. And that's what happened last Sunday on MSCBS. Depending on when you heard the show, it may be more than a week ago. Before I get to that, keep your eye on, and I know you are, AI. Developments have been occurring recently where steps are taking in a direction where be very careful of merging with rather than using AI. Glenn Beck has been talking about this, review his shows. Now's the time to really make firm decisions about where you are at in life because it is going to hit us faster than we think. And I have to say that when I think of the mark of the beast, this could really be problematic. Meaning AI could, I'm not saying will, but could launch us into that next phase. Take the words of Dr. T. David Gordon, a retired professor from Grove City College. He was a professor of media ecology, and that study, of course, studied the media. And I remember him saying, we often think about what media does for us. We need to think about what it is doing to us. And I think this is true for technology and the aspects of AI. What's it doing for us? Wow, can you access information so much more quickly? But you better watch out to see what it can do to us. And we need to draw the line between using it and merging with it. Again, I don't know all the technicalities of it. I'm not even close to understanding it. But we need to have a watchful eye on it so that it only goes so far as us using it rather than us being swept up in it. Well, with that being said, back to Deface the Nation. Margaret Brennan, talking with Marco Rubio regarding the speech our Vice President J.D. Vance made over in Europe, talking about freedom of the press. And that was a great speech, by the way. The clips I heard, phenomenal, really well done. Well, Margaret Brennan, as she was talking with Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, said, free speech was weaponized for the Holocaust. In other words, where J.D. Vance gave that speech, it was in Germany. So Margaret Brennan of CBS associated him being there, connecting free speech being used as a weapon to facilitate the Holocaust. You've got to be kidding me. It was in 1933, I believe, where you see the Nazis being in control. And one of the very first things they did was to limit the press. I think of that time when Dietrich Bonhoeffer was making a presentation over the radio. And the radio went silent, meaning he was cut off. As you study what the Nazis did, they didn't amplify free speech. Like Marco Rubio said, they made it non-existent. It was interesting. I went to AI just to see what was said. And AI said the Nazis made free speech non-existent. Interesting. Well, that's an example of using AI, not merging with it. But think about how I entitle this show every week. Sophie Scholl Monologue. Sophie Scholl, the young woman dissident in Germany, working with her friends, publishing what was called the White Rose Society about their concerns for Germany and their position against the war Germany was waging, saying this is a lost cause. They distributed their material, and finally, as it was distributed through the university, somebody caught wind of it. The Nazis got a hold of it and traced it back to Sophie Scholl and her friends. And it cost them their lives, as freedom of the press, of speech, was being choked and strangled to death in Germany. It literally happened to Sophie Scholl and her friends. They were youngsters. Yes, they were very young, in their 20s. And they were Hitler enthusiasts when he arrived on the scene, but their dad warned them, this is a lost cause. This will lead the nation into destruction. And finally, Sophie and her friends realized Sophie's dad was right. And so convinced that they were, they put together well-written philosophical papers about their position on opposing the Nazis and Adolf Hitler. Their right to speak was squelched. They knew it. And they knew that if they spoke up, it would cost them their lives. And it did. They were caught. And even as they were being put to death, yes, they were put to death by decapitation. They literally lost their heads. Before it all happened, Sophie and her friends said, freedom, freedom. That's what they were about. Our press, especially on the legacy side of the media, does us really no favor with regard to freedom. That's why we've got to be very selective about our outlets, the sources we listen to, regarding maintaining the freedom of the press. Now, I think there's some hubbub about Trump kicking out the AP in White House press briefings. The AP, they have a reputation, but are they really about the free press or an agenda that they're trying to advance? Them being kicked out of the White House briefing room does not mean they don't have freedom of the press. They can print all they want to. Unlike Nazi Germany, when toward the end of that reign, they were limiting what papers could print. 10 pages down to 8 pages. AP can print all that they want to. They just can't be in the White House press briefing room when Carolyn Leavitt gives her briefings. Well, I think I've gone on a little bit too long today. But I just wanted to show how we have outlets in the media that really aren't the friend of truth. they really aren't the friend of the people. And we want a press that is a friend to the truth, informs the people, and gives us that opportunity to gain information that is accurate and sound. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser of Pardon the Interruption, I cannot promise you that I'll do better the next time. And unlike Tony, I won't wave the flag he does. I'll just continue to wave this little flag, the flag of sackcloth, for humility.